One day, Justin and his friend Feba went fishing. They were checking the number of fish that they collected. He suddenly became conscious of the gentle pulse movement close to the fish neck. Furthermore, he was surprised. Can you predict what those certain beating patterns are? They are the movements of respiratory organs. The various respiratory organs and their associated terminologies are discussed in this video. Before learning about the respiratory organ, let us first recall the biological classification of living organisms from lower to higher complexities. Porifera, followed by Coelenterata or Cnidaria, followed by Platyhelminthes, followed by Nematoda, then comes Annelida and Arthropoda, next Mollusca, followed by Echinodermata, followed by Hemichordata, and finally Chordata. Recall that the process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere with carbon dioxide produced by the cell is called breathing. Inspiration and expiration are the two processes included in breathing. During inspiration, the air enters the lungs from the atmosphere, and during expiration, air leaves the lungs. Basically, in organisms, two factors determine the mechanism of respiratory action. They are the habitats they belong to and the level of organization. Members of phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, and Platyhelminthes can be generally termed as lower invertebrates. If you observe the organism of these phyla, you cannot find a much more complex system for respiration, right? So, how will they exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide? The answer is simple diffusion. And it occurs throughout the entire body surface. Isn't it amazing? The next level is the members belonging to phylum Annelida. Can you give an example of an annelid? Let's take earthworm as an example. Respiration is through their moist skin or cuticle itself. So, what is the case with arthropods? They have a network of tracheal tubes that facilitate the passage of air. The air enters the insect's body through valve-like opening in the exoskeleton. Usually, the tracheal system penetrates the cuticle via the closable valves called spiracles and ends near or within the tissue in tiny tubes called tracheoles. Aquatic arthropods and terrestrial arthropods have different modes of respiration. In the case of aquatic arthropods, they have a special organ called gills. So, gills are the respiratory organs that allows the passage of dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide. Branchia is a term that refers to gills. Hence, this kind of respiration is termed as branchial respiration. The next respiratory mechanism we will discuss are the members of the phylum Mollusca. Members of phylum Mollusca also have the same mode of respiration. While in the case of terrestrial arthropods, pulmonary respiration is generally noticed. Pulmonary respiration is the respiration through the lungs for the exchange of gases. So, now we have reached a higher level in biological classification. What can you infer from this? The respiratory modes and the mechanisms get complex as you go to higher phyla. In vertebrates, fish also have branchial respiration, whereas other vertebrates including reptiles, birds and mammals respire through lungs. Amphibians also respire through the lungs, known as pulmonary respiration. But there are additional adaptations for frogs. They can respire through the skin, and this kind of respiration is cutaneous respiration. Also, they respire through their buccal cavity. When on land, this respiration is known as buccal respiration. Let me ask you a question. Which organism has the highest respiration rate? Just think. Yes, fish have the highest respiration rate. Human beings have the most complex respiratory system. Many changes happen in the human body during inspiration and expiration. We shall look into this in the coming videos. Now, let us summarize what we have learnt.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.